Okay, 6:31, we will call this special meeting to order. With the roll call, reflect that Dr. Kovitz going on missing. And with that, we'll do the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance.
In the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice.
Three constitutes a quorum on council. So we have our three. We'll go right into the public comment. I can open up the public comments. Has anybody signed up for the public comments?
Nobody has.
Anybody want to come forward, give your name and
I don't know. I just want to say you got three candidates tonight. Choose wisely and choose the person that's going to get and work for the people, not someone that's going to be a pawn for other people. That's all I have to say.
very good. Anybody else? Okay, not hearing any. We'll close the public comment. Obviously, with the new state law that affects July 3rd, we are required to make letters of intent known to the public. So this is what this meeting is about, is for you to be able to come in, get copies. Under the new law, we have to wait 7 days.
Can I ask a question? Because I have the new law in front of me.
Okay,
It says residents. Right here.
What does it say? Do you want me to pull up the law for you?
yeah, you might as well. Since
Okay. Let me just see the code section and I'll pull it up on the TV. Okay. And I think it's section A. So this, okay. Residence indeed. Okay, so,
go ahead and read it. Not everything, but
yeah, I'm trying to find it.
It's the first paragraph.
Is it? Where do you see?
You control F and look for it.
Well, that's right. I'm sorry.
Right here.
224, 2.228. Okay.
Got it.
Yep. So I think this is the part that needs to highlight. Okay. At least 7 days prior to making such interim appointment, the body or board shall hold a public meeting in accordance with section 2.2-3707, at which the body or board shall announce the names of all persons being proposed for the interim appointment and shall make available for inspection each person's resume and any other materials required by the body or board. Letter of intent.
That was done prior to any of this. We went off of what has been done in the past. I read this and we discussed it earlier today and read it as resumes and any other. So if and any other includes resumes and other documents, then. But that's
Required by the board. So if you guys are, what we discussed was if you guys were just requiring letters of intent, but we're not attorneys.
I can't speak for the board.
I'm comfortable with that.
The only comment I'll make is that, we've got a couple of resumes in here, but who's to say exactly what the resume is.
That's right.
Because, for instance, Mr. Bennett gave his history to last 40 or 50 years. That's a resume.
Oh, no, it's not the same thing. I'll agree with you there. Not the same thing. Because submit a resume, you ought to be able to read 20 years of his history because it'll all be redacted. So, you know,
I think I'm comfortable with what the board required. We asked for letters of intent.
but if the state is stating a resume in any other thing, then a resume in any other thing.
But could you, do you have,
We need a lawyer.
do you have a,
I mean, excuse me.
Is there one in front of them?
I mean, a resume doesn't have to be from January 1st to 1999 to February 27, 2002. It just has to state your job history. And that's what a resume is.
This is his letter. It states the dates that he served in the military and what he did. If you all are accepting that as a resume.
I'm saying it does.
I mean, it's like all the months of these tax.
Yes.
That's it. It's up to.
Yes.
okay. Oh,
So I don't know, but they're not raised, yeah, so. We have two. Did you get Ms. Cook? Resume?
Yes, it should be.
So we have to. Right, yeah, and his letter does date his dates of service. That's not right, but yeah, okay, is it the same letter I received a while back?
No,
What do you mean now?
not. Open,
And that's from the first.
open up your packet.
They opened up another, put in another one?
Open up your packet.
I get it, no. Oh, Olivia?
No,
no, Mr. Spence.
Okay, I'm doing the best I can here, are we just looking for him?
click on this.
Okay, so you put in a different letter?
He had until today at close of business.
Okay. Somebody asked me to put in a second one. It certainly is.
Can I say something? I think y'all need legal advice before you move forward. You let her talk, so I can stop.
You know, I don't think I'm doing it well either, but.
Does any candidate like to come up and speak at all about why they want to get on town council?
I'd be glad to. I wrote a letter to myself to read.
No, ordinarily it tends to, ask questions. We'll do that. Right. So we would do that next week. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll read this here.
Members of the town and the town council. Really, I'm here this evening to formally express my interest in serving the town council. I moved here since 2017, and I gained a deep understanding of the unique challenges facing the towns and its residents. While often a small town life is simpler, it comes firsthand how recent issues on our council have caused frustration among the people of Mineral. And I believe there's an opportunity for us to shift the focus back to the community and its needs. And I'm eager to contribute to that effort. Through my conversations with fellow residents, I've heard from several people who are considering leaving the town, moving from the town of Mineral because of all this news that has been out there and the disorganization and the conflicts within the town government. It's kind of troubling to me because I moved here. We lived in Bealton and I've lived all over the world. And when you're in the military, you go everywhere. And this is where I want to be home. And I want it to be harmonious in our town council and to be able to feel like when you ask a question, people actually listen and don't just come up with their answer before you even finish asking the question. And I really feel like that's something that I can help contribute with, is helping us all kind of understand what everybody wants and not just what I myself want or what Mr. Smith wants or Mr. Jones wants, what is best for the town. All right. You know, we've had a lot of turnover here in the town office with the mayor, the town managers, the clerks. It's a lot of turnover for a small town, and there's got to be a root cause to it that people are leaving and people are so frustrated and unhappy within the town means right here. You know, just for an example, the situation involving the new homes at the end of town was an example, you know, of decisions that seem to reflect disagreements rather than the needs and the desires of those who call Mineral home. Somehow I feel like there wasn't enough information given to the people to help them make a valid decision and help you, the town council, make a valid decision and make sure that everybody is in harmony and understands what's going on. I really feel like that's important to our town. And I believe a lot of that stemmed from the turnover that we've had here and, you know, new people in new positions and not having the right guidance and experience. And we all have to just sit back and take a breath and learn to work together. One of the other things that has really been disheartening to me since I believe the meeting was last April when, is that Mr. Hempstead? When you came on board, the question that they asked you that just infuriated me was, we can't get along. How do you plan on working with us? That's paraphrasing.
Yeah, no, I remember the question.
And who in their right mind says, you people don't want to get along? Hey, let me join in. I want to be a part of the fun. You know, that's not what the town council should be representing. And I was ashamed and embarrassed by those questions being asked of somebody who wants to come and step up and try and make the town council better and work more smoothly. I believe with the right focus, the town council can work cohesively to address communities' real needs, like infrastructure, responsible growth, preserving the small town charm that we value. You know, I want to be a part of the positive change and help ensure that we don't face another crisis like the well situation. You know, we have to call people and have people work day and night tirelessly to get somebody in here to start working on the problem. So my goal, to bring collaboration to the table and to listen to all perspectives and to work towards practical solutions for the benefit of the entire community. I'm committed to working with the council to improve communication, make decisions that reflect the will of Minerals residents, and to avoid any further turmoil. Together, we can make Mineral a place to be proud of, to call home. And thank you for your consideration.
Robert, you want to?
Good evening. As far as the resume is concerned, I'm weird because I spent 21 years in the Air Force, 42 years running my own business. I didn't need a resume. So I traveled around the world when I was in the Air Force. I worked in embassies and so forth. I worked with DIA, CIA, worked with people, ambassadors and all kinds of good stuff. And I think I can get along just about with anybody. And then when I attended some meetings way back when, there was a lot of arguing back and forth. And I felt that there's got to be a different way to do things. And that's what I would like to do. Thank you, guys.
You too, Bob.
So now you know the one long-winded and one short-winded.
Well, when you work for an ambassador, he only gives you enough for the 60-second element of our story. Okay, Obviously, Olivia didn't know that we were going to, let folks talk, but you have her resume and stuff. We're not going to decide anything. What I would ask council is to, between now and our next meeting, to deliberate, look through the resumes, listen to what these two of the candidates have talked about tonight. And then next week, you'll have an opportunity to talk to them again if you want to. And then you'll have to make a decision as to what you want to do. I haven't heard back from the judge based on the letter that I sent and telling him we have an opening, but next week we're going to appoint hopefully someone. So
Can I make a general comment?
you may make a general comment.
This is a personal opinion. Okay. At our last council meeting, we got into a really serious discussion about how Bob was not informed that he needed to be registered by August 16th. How it even came up. Nobody seemed to know. So I started doing a little digging, which you all are familiar with me doing a lot of digging. I went down, I made an appointment to see Commonwealth's attorney, Rusty McGuire. And I explained to him, the confusion that the town council had as to how this revised registration date came about. And first thing he said was, well, I'm a criminal attorney. I don't know anything about it. And it's pretty bizarre. Our problem is the whole town council doesn't seem to know how this happened. And he said, come with me. So he drags me down to the town clerk and told her the question I presented to him. And she came up with 2 documents. Back when I submitted my letter of intent to join the council, town attorney, and I don't know if it was direction from the council or not, but the town attorney sent a letter to the judge. It says pretty much the Mineral Town Council seeks a writ of election to fill this vacancy. And then when Rebecca McGee resigned, I'm sorry. Everybody keeps saying McGee to me, and it doesn't seem to fit right, but thank you. Anyways, she did the same thing again. And to the best of my knowledge, and the council meetings that I've attended, since April, council never directed Catherine Lee to file a writ with the judge and say that the council had directed her to do it. And the problem that I had, number one, is I know Bob was bugging Catherine because he was worried about his position. When he was appointed, I can't remember if it was July or August, I think it was August, he was told at the time that because he had missed the registration date, and not any fault of his own, that his interim position would be until the fall of 2065. And that's in the meeting minutes. And then we have all of a sudden this special election date and a revised registration date come up, and none of the council seems aware where that came from. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying is that I said it 3 times at the last meeting exactly that I knew where, but yes. So it isn't none of the council knows.
But
You keep saying
the thing that
but
bothers,
not knowing.
thing that bothers me is this letter that was written to Judge Sanger. It says she was directed by the council. And I've got copies here of anybody that wants them. But it was copied to Ed Jarvis. So between Catherine Lee and Ed Jarvis, why was the council never informed?
So let me
The
have,
standing order to always to do that.
Well, I don't disagree with that.
I never got a CC copy. In fact, I went down to the courthouse. Yeah, I brought it to the courthouse. I went down and got both copies of these because we didn't have any for our records.
Yeah, we have to do this.
Or I believe, and maybe you can pull a code up. I believe the town is required within 14 days, 15 days
Yeah.
to file for a residence.
And it's her job.
I'm not disagreeing.
That was her job and we had already,
What I'm saying is that we had this discussion at the last council meeting and nobody seemed to know. And
Right.
I was like, how come we didn't know?
The thing,
At least the whole council.
the thing that I was questioning is the date of registration changed.
Right.
Why were we not made aware? As far as the writ of election, we honestly don't have a choice.
I disagree.
State law, state law is that.
But in that registration date should have been something you're aware of. And
You are judge.
forgive me for taking so long, but my bottom line here is, and this is no disrespect meant to Ms. Van Arb, Mr. McCarthy, but I think, like I said, personal opinion, I think Bob Spedden should get some kind of special consideration because he tried to find out if he could register. And nobody told him. You know, if he had found out, and he had time, if he had found out about that August 16th date, he would have signed up.
Okay, can I just interject for a moment? Isn't this the same situation that you and Mr. Runner had when you took that seat?
Thank Ms. Colbert.
So
what?
I,
Tommy Runnick showed up when I was going to be voted on. He had not submitted a letter of interest, and therefore, by town ordinance, he should not have been able to be considered. You said, I think Tommy should be considered. He told me yesterday.
he did, no, it wasn't yesterday, it was weeks before and he had expressed interest. And at that point, I just didn't answer any questions. At that point, it hadn't said in writing, he just had been said to express interest. And so, you know, you're always externally being blamed for everything. For him said, but
We have ordinances. They should
right, and you don't understand them. But, you know,
better than y'all do.
no,
And do a
not.
whole lot more research than you do.
Yes.
I have a motion to adjourn. I have a second. Favor?
Yes.
Thank you.
This is all irrelevant.